Good morning, Pete Momat. I'm Glenn Freibarger. Welcome back to Tasty Live. We've got Forex Focus for you first up. Tuesday morning. How you feeling, Pete?
Good morning. I am feeling fantastic, Glenn. How about you?
All right.
You look great. You know
Thank
what?
you.
Subtle, wonderful shade of green. Very rich, very bold looking.
Thank
you
you.
look fantastic, my friend.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I am blending a little bit into the background, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't nailed down.
I got to tell you though, the complexion, the whole cold plunge, red light, whatever, the magic you did over the weekend.
It's the vitamin C shower.
You're all right. I can't. What is that? They give you a chewable and then hit you with a hose.
Yeah, orange flavored.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they just have a bunch of high C.
It's like
coming
Kid
out of the
Choice
faucet.
Awards where it comes down, like on the goop.
It's a tub
So
of
what is
orange
the vitamin
juice.
C shower?
I don't know. It's a regular shower that has like a little extension that with like orange liquid. The water comes out normal, but they say that's where they infuse it. I don't know. I
thought it was the salt scrub thing. It wasn't the salt scrub thing?
There was no salt scrub.
Glenn had a spa day over the weekend, guys. So
I did just a
I
little.
guess you'd call it. Do they call it a spa or not, or is that like too cliched now?
They call it some sort like wellness suite or something.
Right.
Something that makes more sense. But yeah, the one thing I haven't nailed down for this morning show is getting rid of the bags under my eyes. Got to figure that one out.
Now, wellness suite, these individual rooms where you went with you and your significant other. Hey, Beth, are you still on? Is Beth there? She's not there. But
we'll
talk
yeah,
about.
She's there.
We'll talk about this. 20 years ago, they used to have wellness suites that were a little bit different. I forget what they were, but I can't remember what they were called.
Sounds like more fun, less fun.
There was no cold plunge. There were pools, but a guy that we all worked with, one of the pools had a slide, and he broke his arm on the slide.
No way.
So, needless to say, yes, stories for another day. But
do you have a slide?
Well,
you don't have a pool, do you?
No, I'd love a pool, but you know what? I mean, it's a 3-month exercise in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, you're lucky. It's April 1st. I just put the garbage out. It's freaking 40 degrees. I don't think a pool's going to work.
Yeah, and it takes like a whole summer, so you can't even like. I'd be impressed if you could stand it up and use it one summer. You know, TJ's got a pool.
Yeah.
Does he have a slide?
TJ's got a beautiful pool.
I'll ask him.
I don't think he's got a slide. But he's got a beautiful pool.
All right.
With kids and everything, yeah, I think it's great. I'd love to have one, but it's just, I don't know. I got to figure out.
If you can, you're in charge. So if you can coordinate a team outing at TJ's pool.
Cut that paste. Let me cut and paste that because I need to deliver that messaging to my family because nobody else ever tells me I'm in charge. So that's good to hear. It's good to hear. Yeah, and you and your guys could. I mean, it would be like open season for you guys.
Oh yeah. Don't let me near TJ's pool.
No, and we put Frank in the jacuzzi because it's only 3 feet deep, so it'd be fine.
Can we still get him the arm floaty stuff?
Oh, the wings? Yeah. Absolutely.
The wings.
Absolutely. Safety first.
And a whole bunch of sunscreen.
Yeah, he just sent me our friend. Mr. Caberna, Frank Caberna in Japan, just sent me some great pictures. Wow.
Oh, really? Yeah, they're on the trail now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I imagine there's got to be a kimono video coming anytime now.
God, I hope so. I couldn't find. I went senior year of high school with a school-related function, and there is a picture of me in a kimono somewhere. I can't find it. I appropriately scrubbed it. But even now, now that I have no shame, trying to find it again, I don't know where it is.
Yeah, but he is doing, I think, the walking trail thing now, where they stop at like I forget the term, but the equivalent of Japanese bed and breakfast, and then start up on this trail. So
exciting
good luck.
stuff.
The pictures look amazing. Every picture looks like a postcard, and friends of mine have gone over there, and it's always the same thing. Every picture looks just. There's not a stone out of place. It just looks beautiful.
Wild.
So,
What are you looking at this morning? What are we getting into?
I don't know. Interesting month end. Interesting in the fact that everything moved but FX.
Yeah.
It was a really quiet. I watched 10 o'clock our time, 10:30, 11. There was nothing. Movement in equities, movements in metals, movements in rates, crude, big up move to crude to almost $72 this morning, but really undersized moves in the dollar. It's probably one of the quieter days we had. Dollar a little bit stronger. We saw some selling in Kiwi, Aussie, and Canada. This morning, Euro giving back some ground. Yen, the only thing performing well, dollar yen being sold a little bit. Everything else pretty quiet. So
yeah, at least you did see some drifting. It wasn't Euro definitely inside day, but this yen had an interesting session just with that reversal in rates. I was just looking at the yield on the 10-year, and that chart matched exactly to this one when I was checking in midday that we had overnight. That got hit hard and then right back. So lining up, but bonds this morning back
higher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're actually staging a little bit of rally. They're at their highs right now, and with that rally in bonds, surprise, surprise, we're seeing selling in dollar yen. So we know it's not perfect, doesn't work one-to-one, doesn't work all the time. But my point being, Euro's plumbing lows right now. Well,
oh wow,
the yen is plumbing highs, or dollar yen is the yen's plumbing highs, dollar yen plumbing lows. So two currencies moving in absolutely the opposite direction. And you would think, okay, maybe buying some dollar yen down here would be interesting because it should probably catch up to where Euro's down, sterling's down, Swiss is relatively flat, but just say Euro and sterling. But the one thing that gives me pause is this is why we talk about connectivity and correlations and put it in its place. Not overwhelming, but in its place. I'm not inclined to buy dollar yen down here if the bonds stay at their highs going into the U.S. session. I think maybe if you want to be the contrarian and buy some dollar yen, you do it at better levels. Sure. But I don't think this is disconnected from the other dollar pairs. Yes, interesting in terms of a contrarian scalp of buying the range here, which is that lower end of 148.90. I don't know.
Yeah, is 149 interesting? I saw, I think, a commitment of traders report that yen futures, this was the highest level of speculators long yen futures. Is that, I imagine that's a fairly large group of people, but does that have any sort of sway on anything, or is that just kind of an observation?
It's a great question, and what Glenn is referring to is the CFTC puts together, for futures market, they bucket traders as asset managers, large hedge funds, large traders, and then small traders. And it used to be that small traders were the dumb money. If small traders were long, you wanted to be short and vice versa. That doesn't hold true anymore.
That's good.
And especially
reassuring.
It doesn't. And the other thing is, too, if you're a primary market, like Commitment of Traders report looking at the wheat market is valuable because there's no other way to trade wheat except wheat futures. So that really shows you the mixture of hedgers and users and stuff like that. When we look at that Commitment of Traders in FX,
gotcha.
You don't know what portion of that is people long futures and short spot, or hedged without knockout options or whatever. So I think when you look at products like, I know a lot of guys sell studies about ES, Commitment of Traders reports. Again, SPOO positions are always hedged, not always. Obviously, people use them for directional exposure, but so much of that commitment is a lot of times put off against something else.
Right.
So it's not real true commitment. It shows asset managers with a huge long position in SPOOs. Ooh, the smart money is long. Well, no, they're not, because there's short calls everywhere else. So I think you look at it with a grain of salt. It's a good call out, but it's something that, like our client sentiment, it's interesting, part of the decision making.
Yeah. So here, I mean, this is interesting because we still have 54% of IG Group clients short this dollar yen market. But if we look at the recent time periods, we're seeing more buys recently. So maybe this speaks to a lot of position traders in this market, a lot of people holding short positions, perhaps. I mean, good for them if it's from 160. But yeah, just not letting go. Does that make sense that more people would have position trades in this market than try and maybe intraday scalp, or is that the wrong way to read it?
No, I think that's a great way to read it. And I think the consistent long we saw in this with the carry, again, you getting paid to be long dollar yen, is a little less interesting. It's still positive, but not as compelling. And you're getting two-way price action. So no. So in the 54, you just talked about futures being long. Mm-hmm. Futures are quoted as a reciprocal of the way we trade dollar yen.
Right.
They're yen dollar.
Yeah.
So they're both saying the same thing, is that the market itself is wanting to own more yen and wanting to own it for a longer period of time. So I think that is when you look at this, there's a lot of information there. That's a great takeaway from this, Glenn, is you're absolutely right.
Interesting. But would you say because of that carry trade implication, that this market is more susceptible for long-term positions, or do you see people holding euro dollar the same? Excuse me.
No, I think there's a mixture of both. Yen, I mean, euro, lower end of its 15-year range, absolutely. Yen, higher end of its 30-year range, by far. So if you're looking for, there's just going to be a general, all this uncertainty with tomorrow's announcement and everything. Dollar's going to lose its status as an interesting place to hold money, and there's more risk. You could see that play through, and again, being short some dollar yen and holding on to that is kind of a strategic hedge. When you talk about, it's not even correlated to the FX pairs. Mm-hmm. It's weaker, much more weaker correlated, completely uncorrelated to the U.S. equities market. If you're looking for uncorrelated exposure and you're looking to diversify a little bit, those dollar yen shorts or yen longs really start to make a little bit of sense from that perspective on a longer term view.
Yeah. And here, just looking at euro dollar sentiment, seeing the same kind of thing where we have the majority of traders short, as we know, a big run up in recent weeks. But looking at even, I don't know if this month means, I'd hope it means 30 days and not, start of April. But all of this recent trading activity kind of trying to pick more of the range bound that we've established here on the lows, whereas we've got a lot of people just in for the long haul for maybe a reversion towards parity.
Absolutely. And a skosh under 108 is, we've just about covered the range. Yeah. So we had the rocket ship from 104 to 108.5, punched through, almost up through 109.5, 109, 10, 20. And now we're back at the lower end of the range. I think this lends itself to, you take it's funny, this is some time you take the markets as they are.
You're right.
And right now, this is giving you a different trading. This is giving you a more active, you look at this chart, if you're a contrarian or a range trader, this is giving you a lot of opportunity on both sides. It's giving you the ability to fade extremes, manage them, reestablish shorts if you want to do that and you have a bias, or buy a reasonable pullback, which I think we can argue a 10.5% pullback is a pretty good pullback to buy and get some joy on it. So this is it. As long as this range holds, this is giving you a really nice setup for back and forth, where dollar yen, not so much. And
Yeah.
Kiwi and Aussie, definitely not.
Fair.
But on sale.
Yeah, definitely. But been on sale for a while now.
Yeah.
Let's get over to some slides I pulled
Fantastic.
together. Just thought it would be a fun exercise. Here we've got, it's April now. Happy April. April Fools. April 1st. So I thought we'd recap what the biggest monthly movers were in major FX pairs for the month
This
of
is
March. And we'll see some not surprises. I'm sure you already have some speculation, some hypotheses for what was moving the most. But I think we'll churn through the top 10 of major dollar and non-dollar pairs, and then try and look for some trends. There's some cool takeaways. When you're looking at this intraday, hard to kind of zoom out and see where we're at. So we'll take it from number 10. We've got Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, popular Australasian cross, with New Zealand dollar coming out on top. Percent change in March, 0.85%. Coming in at number 9, we've got New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, up 0.89% in the month of March. So New Zealand dollar again coming out on top. Number 8, going over to Europe.
Yeah.
We've got the euro versus the pound, change in March plus 1.4%. Coming in at 7, we've got Kiwi, New Zealand dollar versus the U.S. dollar, up. New Zealand dollar gaining on the U.S. dollar in the month of March to the tune of plus 1.42%.
Hey, Glenn, is this from high to low or from low to where we settled the month?
This is start to finish, so not incorporating, and we'll come back to this gigantic run up. New Zealand dollar could have been the outperformer.
Could have been
if we took it mid.
That's still
mid-month.
Interesting. We gave back so much ground, but still a big percentage move.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming in at number 6, we have British pound versus the Japanese yen, up on the month 2.02%. Number 5, U.S. dollar, Swiss franc down 2.03%. Another European currency taking it to the U.S. dollar. Number 4, cable. We've got British pound against the U.S. dollar. Change in March, a pretty staggering plus 2.64%. And coming in at number 3, euro yen. Some say the most popular dollar cross, non-dollar pair. Euro against the yen, appreciating 3.42% in March. Number 2, another euro against the Australian dollar, coming in at plus 3.48%. And number 1, I'm sure you would have guessed it, nothing outperforming better than the euro against the U.S. dollar in March, up 4.05%. Just a crazy move, and took it there very early on. I mean, we got to where we finished by the 10th day of March, and did get higher, but still settled at the time I clipped this yesterday above 108 after starting the month around 104. So here we've got the full list. We can go back to any of the charts you want to see, but just a couple takeaways from me, and then we'll look at the actual tape action. U.S. dollar, not its month in March. A lot of currencies able to capitalize against it, and I mean, dollar yen now would be in the mix here. Yesterday, it ticked back higher above 150 at the time I clipped it. So it was at around 1.2%, and then it got erased yesterday to around only 0.6% to the downside. So that did not make this list, but very easily could have now. Euro across the board taking the 1, 2, and the 3 spot. Sometimes you think that this maybe would have been a dollar story, but now in March, definitely a euro-led story. Taking it to U.S. dollar, Australian dollar, and the yen for a lot of percentage gains. New Zealand dollar was a healthy performer, but man, it could have been a lot more, as we saw and as you called out. Could have been to the tune of multiple percentage points against a lot of pairs, but able to not only capitalize against the U.S. dollar, but against the other commodity currencies as well, Canadian dollar and Australian dollar, to lesser effects. And the British pound also hanging in there, but I don't know, what it looks like to me is a lot of euro momentum, a European Union-led story, where, of course, they're going to get some reciprocal love, but not outperforming in the same way at all, as well as, the Swiss franc taking some of that as well. What are you looking at? What do you want to go back to?
I think this is a fantastic walkthrough because it really adds zooming out a little bit to context and what's tradable. And I think when you look back, tariffs have been on everybody's mind January, February. Well, tomorrow's supposed to be the big day. You would have thought March would have been all about buying dollars because everything's going to be more expensive. This is how the market prices efficiently. Market was having none of it. They were like, yeah, go ahead. You do whatever you want and possibly damage your economy. We're going to look through the lens of that. And I think that what we saw in terms of movement was really fascinating. For me, I think the idea that overwhelming euro strength from the dollar and non-dollar pairs says that we were just talking about a range to trade in euro, and that's an awful lot. That's a dramatically higher range than it was early last year, which we would have said is 102.5 to 105.
Definitely.
We're now saying it's 107.5 to 109. But when you look at the momentum, not only against the dollar but against everything, you accept the range. Yes, I will buy that, which I would have thought 3 months ago was a very high level because it's 170 pips off the highs. That's a tradable range because you're going to where the market is giving you and demonstrating by a tape action strength. The Kiwi story, boy, it's interesting. The fact it couldn't hold on to the bulk of those gains. That was multi-year lows it plumbed.
Yeah. Really right around the month start. So, we got as high as 58. Not sure what the percentage would have been, but I'd guess 3, maybe 4%. Low to high.
And here's a case structurally. We're back through where it had paused the first time. If you want it, is it cheap? Sure, it's still cheap. Not quite as on fire cheap as it was at the lows, but tape action wise, it's not telling me that there is a lot of interest in other words, the construction of what we're seeing in euro, higher highs. When the pullbacks come to the downside, they're higher lows. They're not plumbing down through the range. Here, it's plumbing through the range. I'm not saying that means it's weak enough for me to sell, but I think when you pick, don't try to pick the catch-up. Well, this is given back the most, so it should snap back. Accept what the market's giving you, which is a little bit less productive environment. Now, long-term, if you think the dollar is going to have a hard time this year, this is an interesting pair. Aussie too, even though it hasn't given. But if you're looking for a scalping opportunity, I think you've identified the ones. And things like euro yen, guys, we should all be comfortable that whether it's got a USD in base or quote currency or two others, as long as there's liquidity and tape action, we're good to go with it. It's the whole thing we talk about in the world of tasty options. If the underlying has liquidity, I don't care what symbol it is, as long as I can get in and out and it has volatility. Same thing here. And this is one that is, again, holding an interesting amount of the bounce here and plays a little bit out the same way. And I think it's this has been a pretty big move for a pair that usually doesn't have that same correlate. Even the euro sterling pair, which was really interesting. And was your sterling number 4? This is a big move. This speaks to, okay, what does that tell me? Euro is killing it against the dollar. It's killing it against everything else it trades against. There's a lot of strength out there. Can that revert? Sure. But I am going to till the market demonstrates it, I'm going to lean. If I want to be long, I'm going to lean on the one that's performing on a pullback. If I want to be short, I'm going to pick one of the others.
Yep, you got it. Yeah, a lot of potential opportunity out there, a lot of different pairs moving. That'll do it for our monthly movers of March. New month, same markets, but new stories every day. So thanks for tuning in with us. Up next, we've got Tom, Tony, and Vanetta coming at you for Tasty Live.
In the world of investing, a beast lurks between the numbers. Some watch from the safety of the sidelines, but others saddle up and ride that one-ton rowdy ribeye for all he's got. If that's you, join us on Tasty Trade, named best online broker for options trading. Genius loves company.
I want to play a game. It's a relationship game. So I'm going to ask you each a question.
Who loves the hardest?
Yes, yes, yes. So are you ready?
TikTok game.
Who's more